is the CanMar Morning Talk Show, a fresh take on what's happening in the cannabis and psychedelic spaces. I'm your host, Melissa Jane Saidi. Join me as I sit down and have thought-provoking conversations with some of the industry's top experts and trendsetters from around the globe. Hey, welcome back to the CanMar Morning Talk Show. I'm your host, Melissa, and we have a very special guest joining us today, Nicola Royce, the Managing Director of M2Bio. She is a seasoned industry expert with a passion for innovation and a wealth of experience in the biotech space. As the Managing Director of M2Bio, a leading company in the field, Nicola is at the forefront of groundbreaking advancements and is driving positive change in the industry. With a strong focus on delivering cutting-edge solutions, M2Bio is revolutionizing the way we approach cannabis and biotechnology. From their innovative products to their commitment to social responsibility, M2Bio is making a significant impact. Today, we'll be exploring Nicola's journey, how she became involved in M2Bio, as well as some of M2Bio's remarkable achievements and what is in the pipeline moving forward. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Nicola, welcome to the CanMar Morning Talk Show. How are you doing today?
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. From a very cold Joburg. It was very cool seeing snow yesterday, but I must say the after effects are long lasting. I'm very excited to be on the show and excited to share with everyone what we're up to and all the exciting things in the works.
Wonderful. Yeah, I know it's absolutely freezing in South Africa at the moment. We don't have any snow here in PE, but I saw some of the videos from Joburg and it looks beautiful but freezing.
Yeah, definitely.
So Nicola, I'd love to always start off with just getting a little bit of my guest background. So perhaps you can introduce yourself a little bit, provide a little bit of a background of how you ended up in this space and how you became involved with M2Bio.
Definitely. So I grew up in a farm in Zim, on a strawberry farm, and everything was kind of self-sourced. So we had livestock, we had a vegetable garden, and I guess my love for nutrition kind of began then, and holistic approach to health. And this eventually led me to study dietetics at University of Pretoria. And through my experience through ComServe and all of that, I developed a passion for cardiometabolic diseases, so diabetes, heart health, and all of that. And that led me to further study a postgraduate diploma in diabetes through the University of South Wales. And my journey sort of began there. I love a holistic approach to health. And, I don't really like... I feel a lot of things can be prevented, health promotion rather than managing diseases. So I really want to be able to make a difference in this space. And M2Bio offers that platform. So they have a lovely reach. They have the technology, the resources that I can use to build up my division and be able to make a difference in the world, which is really amazing. And I love the fact that we have this huge sustainability aspect. So we'll get into that a little bit later about M2Enviro, but obviously we're super conscious about the health of the environment, not only the health of people, and all of this works together really well with my values. So I feel very privileged to be in this position to be able to do what I'm doing.
I love that. That's amazing. And I think these are really important things. And as you said, prevention is better than cure, right? So I think it's all about creating that kind of healthy lifestyle from the get-go, so you don't have to try and cure things later on. So I think that's really important. And it's great that M2Bio is doing all of these kind of things. And when we spoke before, Nicola, you mentioned that there are multiple divisions of M2Bio. There are a lot of that fall under the M2Bio umbrella. So maybe you can just give us a kind of a brief bit of a background on who M2Bio is as a company, as well as kind of like a high-level overview of all of these divisions that fall under the M2Bio umbrella.
Yeah, so as you said, M2 Biosciences is the umbrella, and the core mission and vision is to provide evidence-based products and services. And for us, quality is paramount, so we do not compromise at any point, even if it is very costly, for us, having that quality and that sense of reassurance is what we value. So for example, we source our CBD from Colorado, and where it's produced, it's tested, but then we go a step further and we get it tested by an independent lab to make sure that the CBD levels are at what is required and the THC is at what that's required to be. And then, we go about producing these quality products. So in terms of the various divisions, we have M2Biome food and beverage. So that is sort of our consumer facing brands that include Medspresso and Liviana. So we have CBD infused food products, which again, I'll chat about a little bit later. We also have M2Enviro. So this is our sustainability division where they make use of hemp and mycelium to produce what we call hempcelium. Trademark that.
Love that.
And that's a really cool, innovative product, again, which I'll discuss a little bit later in detail. We also have M2 Sentient. So this is headed up by a clinical psychologist based in Thailand, and she's developing a program that involves all of the senses, so sight, touch, smell, taste, to help with, mental health and helping people, along those lines. So we know that all of the senses play a huge role in our health, and it's just a sort of different approach to managing, various people who have mental health issues.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's something that's very relevant to our world today, right? I mean, things have been really rough for everyone over the last few years. So I think that mental health has really come to the forefront. So innovations in that space it's really something to take a note of and work on, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Then we also have M2Biome, which is where I'm involved. That focuses more on food and gut health and cardiometabolic health and how all of that comes together. And then we also have a new and exciting division, which is drug discovery and applied sciences. So that's definitely something to watch out for in the near future. But then going back to what I do, so I am the Managing Director of M2Biome, and I head up product development. So these products are for cardiometabolic health, cognitive health, longevity, that sort of realm. And I also really have a strong passion for education. So we do a lot of I plan a lot of education in terms of social media. So every Tuesday, for example, we have hashtag Health Tip Tuesday, and I cover various different topics that would help people, little steps along the way, which they can learn each week. I also have a blog going on our website where we take nutritional information, sometimes complex, and we break it down into a digestible format for people to learn and understand and apply in their own lives. And we're also working on personalized nutrition with the help of machine learning, which again, I'll get into a bit of detail later.
Very exciting, and I can't wait to dive into more detail on that, because I think it's really the future, right? And you're in a really great position where you're able to kind of see these things take shape, which I think is super exciting. It must be really interesting to do what you do, right?
Every day I'm learning something. It's amazing.
That's really, really cool. And of course, we've spoken about a lot of the things that you guys are working on at the moment, but are there any kind of noteworthy milestones that you can share with us in terms of the creation of the company, or anything noteworthy that's been kind of achieved during the company's tenure so far?
Yeah, so I think it's important to kind of begin with where we all started. So Jeff, who is our CEO, came through to South Africa a couple of times around about 2018, and he was coming here to sort of suss out our quality of research. And he obviously really liked what he saw with the various companies and universities that he was dealing with. And then he decided to start up M2Biome in 2018. And then he moved here, and then the journey began.
And where is he? Sorry to interrupt you there, Nicola. Where does Jeff originate from?
So Jeff is actually from Canada.
Okay,
And he
okay.
has quite a colorful history. So he's lived in various parts of the world, and I think you're definitely going to have him on a podcast to get his interesting history, from the culinary side to filming. You know, he's done a lot, and he's incredibly interesting to talk to. So I think you should definitely aim to have him on the show in future. But yeah, he's based in Cape Town now, which is where our head office is. But I mean, he's doing a lot in Dubai, and he does a lot in Thailand. So a lot is on the go. And he's very dynamic and agile that way.
Absolutely, and I think that with this kind of industry and this kind of research, it's not, it's not just in one area. It's kind of a global thing, right? Where there are a lot of moving parts happening all over the world. So that would be amazing. And Jeff, we'd love to have you on the CanMar Morning Talk Show. So I'll get your details from Nicola. But sorry to interrupt you there, Nicola. Please continue with what you were saying before.
No problem. So, in terms of noteworthy achievements, as far as I understand it, we are the only company in Africa to have a license to conduct clinical research with psilocybin, which is
Very
absolutely
cool.
amazing.
Amazing.
So, yeah, everything that we're doing must be clinically based, evidence based, obviously to drive this product forward in the industry. Um, and what's amazing is we've signed a contract with UNISA, where we have a head researcher there, Dr. Sana, who's conducting research on psilocybin for us. And recently, she is the first person to have discovered the anti-inflammatory effects of psilocybin.
That's
Which
amazing.
I know, and this can potentially play a role in replacing aspirin, for example. So, definitely watch that space. I know that we are about to start clinical trials in humans, in people with stage 4 cancer in a Joburg hospital here. So, yeah, we're definitely moving
Wow.
forward.
Wow, that's really incredible. Especially I think that maybe sometimes South Africa, we get overlooked maybe sometimes. But it's amazing to see what kind of research and stuff is actually happening here in our own country. So that's really amazing, and I'll definitely stay up to date on what's happening there. I think it's very, very interesting. So thanks for sharing
So
that,
just
Nicola.
a note on that. Dr. Sana was part of a webinar with Harvard University. I think that took place a month or two ago. There's a recording that I can share with you, and you can share it with your listeners. But
Amazing.
they were discussing, developments in this field, and it's all incredibly interesting and exciting.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I'll definitely get that link from you, and guys, check it out in the description. That sounds incredible. It's great to see the strides that are being made in the research in this field. So that's very exciting. And talking about innovation, I'd love to talk a little bit more and dive into a little bit more of the intricacies and details of the innovation that M2Bio in general and all the different divisions are kind of in the pipeline, and what are the kind of main differences you want to make in this industry?
Yeah, so I think one of our most exciting innovations is the hemp psyllium. So this is where they take hemp hurd, and they take mushrooms, and mushrooms roots, as I understand it, are called mycelia, and they grow this compound, well, this material in a mold, and then we are developing packaging with that. So it's completely compostable within 4 to 6 weeks. So it's really quick. You can literally pop it out the box, put it on your compost heap, and you'll know within 2 months it will have degraded, which is amazing. It's also going to be used. Well, I'm sure you know that hemp is a fire retardant, and we are looking at creating like a flame retardant for existing buildings. So, for example, if you think about townships or very high density living where maybe the shacks are made out of wood, you can insert this fire retardant at the corners, and it should slow down the burning of the buildings so that someone can get there in time to quell the fire. Yeah.
Wow,
So we're
That's
really excited
huge.
about
For,
that.
that's really huge. Just for those listeners who don't know, in South Africa, we have a lot of informal settlements where a large number of our population live in these kind of informal settlements with shacks that are built out of, you know, material that can catch on fire very easily, and when it does, it kind of can just completely raise an entire neighborhood. So this would really be a huge game changer for people living in these settlements.
Exactly, yeah. So I know that this is soon to, like, we've made developments in leaps and bounds, and hopefully we'll be able to release this within this year, but we'll keep you up to date with that.
Watch
Then
the
in
space.
terms watch the space. You'll just hear me saying that a million times. But yeah, we're also going to be conducting research at the University of Pretoria. So we've also recently signed a contract with them and University of Pretoria Enterprises. And we will be working or researching and developing CBD-infused dog food. So I know with my dogs, for example, they're super anxious. So you might hear them within this
Mine
podcast.
too, but I can relate.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to what this brings, because I think it will change the lives of dogs who have anxiety and struggle with that. And we'll also be involving one of Jeff's contacts in the States. They have, I don't know if it's a dog shelter or it's a place where people bring their dogs for the day, you know, like a daycare or something like that. And they will recruit participants for the trial. So they'll follow the protocol, and we'll be able to get data from the States as well, which is also quite cool. So we can see how generalizable it will be. Then we also have CBD infused athlete rubs, which we've been working on. And this will hopefully be launching within this year as well. And then, of course, it's personalized nutrition and medicine, which is a big area which we will be moving into.
Amazing, amazing. And for me, the CBD pet food is really something that I would personally, you know, my dog is very anxious. He has a lot of separation anxiety, especially when I leave the house, since I work from home, you know, so we're together all the time. I'm curious, Nicola, have you used CBD for any CBD products for your pets, for your dogs before? I'm just curious personally, because, you know, this is something that I've been considering for my little boy.
Yeah, so I have tried, because our dogs are rescues. So when we initially had them, it was very difficult for me because, you know, they didn't want to use the doggy door, which we spent a lot of money installing and all of these things. And you know, I thought, let me try CBD. But the problem is, you know, we don't have a lot of research done in that. So firstly, do I know that what I'm giving my dogs is actually what it says on the bottle? How rigorously are they testing that? What is the dosage? What is the dosage that's safe? Like, do we need to consider their livers in all of this? So I'm really thankful that M2Bio is actually going into this and getting the evidence that we would need for that. So to be honest with you, when I use the CBD, I didn't really see a difference. The CBD that I used before, I mean, I had that bottle. When the bottle was finished, I didn't bother continuing. Thankfully, my dogs started learning to use the doggy door. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this CBD infused dog food. I'm sure it's going to be a game changer.
Amazing, yeah, and I totally agree with you. I think that, you know, a lot of people would say the same thing. Oh, we don't want to give our pet something that hasn't been through kind of this rigorous testing. So thank you, M2Bio, and you keep me posted. You let me know when that is available.
I will definitely.
So Nicola, what I was going to ask is kind of the unique selling points of M2Bio and how M2Bio stands out. But I think that's already quite evident. But I'm curious, is there a lot of competition in the space, especially in South Africa?
So there are a lot of CBD infused products or CBD products out there, but again, how much can you trust them? How rigorous is their testing? and, you know, the source and all those sorts of things. So I think where we stand out is that we go the extra mile to make sure that what you're getting is what it says on the packaging. And I mean, we don't cut corners at all. As you hear, we get the licensing, we go through all the testing, we want credible speakers to back our products. You know, we want to elevate this industry to be something that's trustworthy, because I think a lot of damage that's been done over the years, especially if you consider, you know, the 60s and 70s with hippies and the somewhat reckless taking of these substances, has kind of tainted the image of CBD and psychedelics. And, you know, it can potentially be used as a powerful medicinal tool for people who have PTSD or, you know, trauma, or, you know, anything that they're struggling with in life, addiction. So we really want to stand out as the leaders of innovation that's evidence-based. Like, you'll hear me say that 100 times over as well. So it's quality, evidence-based research.
I think that is a very, very good point, Nicola, because there are a million people trying to peddle a million different products. So, and I think that's where what you said earlier comes into it as well, and that's education and making sure that you are being educated by the right people who are providing you with the right kind of evidence and well-researched products like M2Bio. So I think that's a very good point. And on that note, I would kind of like to jump a little bit more into the food and beverage side of things, because I find this very interesting, and I know it's also something that is quite important to you as well, the kind of health and wellness aspect of things. So can you maybe elaborate on some of the products that are available, and also the importance of kind of health and wellness overall from your perspective?
Definitely. So, as I mentioned, we have Medspresso and Liviana, which is part of Food and Bev. Medspresso has CBD infused coffees, and we have a rooibos tea. So the coffees is Tanzanian pea berry. Then we also have a Kenyan Ethiopian blend, and that comes in like filter ground or whole beans, also espresso ground. Then we have pods, which we've made sure are completely compostable, in line with, you know, our core mission and values. Delicious coffee, I must say. So it is roasted with CBD, and apparently, so it goes, the CBD helps to sort of delay the release of caffeine.
Okay.
So it's not a large spike, it sort of slowly releases into the body. So for those people who might struggle with coffee and caffeine, this could be an option for them. Then we also have rooibos tea in the pods as well. And the pods are Nespresso compatible. So for anyone who wants a lovely coffee on the go or tea on the go, they can make that quickly in the morning. We're also going to be developing a CBD infused dark chocolate.
Amazing.
And as part of the Medspresso line. Yeah, and we're trying to work on how to add the least amount of sugar possible. So we wanted to actually have 100% cocoa chocolate, and we are finding it a little bit difficult, you know, without adding something like a sweetener. So we might adjust the formulation slightly, but there's also the opportunity to scald milk, for example, and scalding the milk enhances the sweetness. So if we add a little bit of milk to the cocoa, we might be able to achieve something great there. And the polyphenols that are part of coffee and chocolate are amazing for health. Then in terms of the Liviana brand, we have extra virgin olive oil, which to me as a dietitian is like a godsend. Like there cannot be anything healthier than extra virgin olive oil.
Absolutely.
I love it. For me, more is more. So the polyphenol aspect of that, the type of fat that's in it, but important to note, it needs to be extra virgin. So it's the way that it's processed. And you should always try to consume it as close to production as possible. So sometimes when you go into shops, you'll see the cheaper versions of olive oil, and it probably comes from Italy or somewhere, and you'll see that the expiry date is within that year, and maybe the life or the shelf life is 2 to 3 years. So how much benefit are you still getting in terms of the polyphenols? So we source our Liviana extra virgin olive oil in Stellenbosch. So it's all local. And then we have the Liviana raw honey. And that's also sourced locally from the Otaniqua Mountains. So honey is an interesting food product. So while it calorie-wise has the same amount of calories as, say, table sugar, it is a healthier option in terms of the other health benefits it offers. I don't want to really go into the detail of that. If you want to know more, you can check out a blog on our website. But basically, if you are consuming sugar, replacing your sugar with honey is a better option. But then again, I'm not saying go eat the whole jar. Everything in moderation. We obviously still want to reduce our added sugar intake. And yeah, we're also developing a CBD infused bread, which we hope to be.
That's awesome. That's something I have not heard of before.
Yeah, and it's going to be gluten-free. So the main ingredients are actually seeds. There's a little bit of oats in there. So actually I'll have to check the gluten-free status. It may not be 100% gluten-free, but definitely a lower carb option, super high in protein. And I've tasted it. Honestly, you would not be able to tell the difference. It is delicious.
Incredible.
But again, everything in moderation. Another dietitian's mantra. Yeah, and then we also have an exciting product called purple tea. So purple tea actually originates in Kenya. And as the name implies, it creates purple tea, super high in antioxidants, very, very healthy for you. But unfortunately, it is a bit more on the expensive side. So Jeff is actually heading up to Kenya at the end of this month, and he's going to go and finalize getting purple tea here as part of our product line. The University of Pretoria is also conducting research on that. Like they have research, but we'll be doing a little bit more on that. So that's also quite an exciting product. And then in terms of M2Biome, so food and bev, so on the one side, and then M2Biome, we focus more on medical nutrition therapy. And we're going to be developing products for cardiometabolic health, cognitive health, longevity, that kind of line. So can't tell you too much at this point, but we'll be looking at postbiotics. We'll be looking at a very specific product for cognitive performance. But as I said, all sort of in the development stage at this point. But this is where my passion lies. And then, yeah, so in terms of, following a healthy lifestyle and what we want to do, we have also realized that a lot of people struggle to take information, and healthy cooking can sometimes seem difficult, expensive, and boring, tasteless.
Very true. Yeah,
so we want to change that perception, and we have a section on our website that has a whole bunch of easy to make recipes. And I've tried them myself. Very simple, very easy. Delicious. So that's another way that we can empower people to be able to change their habits. We keep a limited amount of ingredients as part of the recipes. So we also provide like a pantry staple or like a shopping list. And if you have any of those ingredients, you'll be able to make any of the recipes. And then, as you know, I'm sure you've heard, you are what you eat, and every bite counts. So every bite that you take can take you towards healthiness or illness. So I also realize, and dietitians do realize, that people are people, and we realize that you do want to eat, a little bit unhealthier here and there, and it's okay. At the end of the day, you need to look at your overall pattern, and it's your lifestyle as a whole. How stressed are you? How are you managing that stress? Are you sleeping well? Are you exercising? All of that forms a huge part of the whole. And you'll see that dietetics and nutrition has moved away from like this focus on nutrients to an eating pattern. Saturated fat, can potentially be harmful, but are you consuming that along with loads of fruits and vegetables? Are you exercising? There's so much more to it. So if you want to have a little bit of a cheat day here and there, within reason, it's okay. you just have to look at the overall pattern. And if you need some inspiration for that, the Mediterranean eating pattern is one of those that you could follow. Very healthy for you. A huge component is extra virgin olive oil, but then it's definitely the fruit and veg intake along with that.
So Nicola, absolutely, I completely agree with you, and I think that that's why a lot of people turn to fast food, because it's cheap, easy. A lot of people have very busy lifestyles, but it's not that difficult to make that change. I must say I fell into that trap where I was eating really unhealthily. I was kind of putting a lot of junk into my body, and I was feeling it. You feel it at the end of the day. You can feel it not only in terms of picking up weight, but just your overall health. So as soon as I kind of made the change, I said, I'm not buying junk food anymore. I'm gonna start cooking for myself, because it's also difficult when it's just you, to make the effort to cook for yourself. But since I've started to do that, it has made such a big difference. It's not that difficult, and it's not that difficult to make the change, and it's not about restricting yourself, as you said many times, and it's something my dad always said as well. Everything in moderation. So if you do want to have a slice of birthday cake at a birthday party, don't deny yourself that. So I totally agree with everything that you said, and also amazing products in the pipeline. I can't wait to see when some of these things launch. And the coffee to me sounds amazing, especially the fact that the pods are disposable and biodegradable, because I think that's something that I feel guilty about personally. If a pod isn't biodegradable, what a wasteful thing. So that's really amazing what you guys are doing. Just to talk a little bit about the industry overall and kind of some trends that maybe you guys are seeing with M2Bio at the moment. As a company that's focused in a lot of research, what are some of the standout trends that you're seeing in the industry at the moment?
So, there's obviously renewed interest in this space. I mean, you'll notice with the Netflix documentaries and series and all that sort of thing. So there's huge renewed interest. I think people are realizing that there's definitely a potential use for, in our case, CBD and psilocybin. And I know that a lot of research is now going into this, but it feels like we have a lot of time to make up for. And M2Bio is just, we're there. We want to do this research. We've invested a lot of money into it, a lot of time. And these projects with UNISA and University of Pretoria are 5 or 6 years long. So we know that it is slow going, but if you want something that is quality, you kind of just have to bite the bullet and go through it. That's kind of where we are. We just want to make sure that we do everything by the book, and then we have quality products at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Slow and steady wins the race. I think that a lot of people are in it to make a quick buck, which is clearly not what you guys are doing. You're really invested in quality over quantity, and really putting the time and energy into that research and making sure people are getting great products that are well researched. So that's incredible. I'm also curious to talk a little bit about the regulatory landscape, because obviously a lot of these things are highly regulated, and it's constantly shifting as well in this industry. So do you have any insights to share from a regulatory kind of perspective, and how does that kind of influence M2Bio's operations as a company?
So it is very difficult with the regulatory landscape to be able to explain it and navigate it. It does definitely feel like that is lagging. And I guess the only way those bodies can move forward is if they have the research to back up decisions. So I can't really say where they will be headed right now, but
I don't think any of us can, right?
M2Bio is just putting their head down. We're doing our due diligence, we're doing the research, and then hopefully, this guides the regulatory space in future.
That's amazing. You really are in that position to kind of present well-researched evidence that can help shape the industry. So what an exciting space to be in, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So early on, you were hinting at some of the technology that you guys are using. correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounded like there was some kind of AI automation that was happening there. So I'd love to dive a little bit into the emerging technologies or market shifts that are shaping the industry and how you guys are adapting to it or utilizing these technologies.
Yeah, so this is definitely a huge part of M2Bio and where we're going. So one of the projects at University of Pretoria is developing AI for drug discovery.
So
So
cool.
this speeds up the time. Yeah, it's incredible. I was there, and you see all these robots doing these things, and it's really like futuristic. But it speeds up the time for drug development because you can pick out potential molecules that have a health benefit, and the whole process is basically speeded up. And what's amazing is with the University of Pretoria, they have, as I understand it, the largest archive of plant material in Africa.
Wow.
So I'd be lying if I specified like the number of species, but we have all of this at our fingertips. They will be able to sift through various different plant species, identify molecules that could potentially be used for drugs, and so that's a big space for us for future. And then in terms of personalized medicine and nutrition, so we're going to be looking at genetics and the microbiome and all sorts of things to bring together personalized nutrition and medicine. For example, I was just reading yesterday that a company has identified there's 4 main obesity phenotypes. So they can now guide people to what obesity drugs those individuals can use based on their phenotype, because you'll see a lot of drugs fail and then you don't really know why, but now we can pinpoint it. And yes, it might cost a bit of money to do the test, but if you consider the cost of the medication, it outweighs itself in the end. So these are the sorts of things that we'd like to incorporate in our portfolio. So in Hout Bay at that branch, we'll be setting up a personalized medicine unit there, and Dr. Sky Scott will be heading that up for us. So she will be designing everything, and people can go there, they can spend a week, they can do all the tests that they want to do to figure out their health status and where they should be going in future, and then the nutrition will obviously form part of that. So very, very exciting stuff. We know, like, yes, there are basic principles that you can tell the population, but we want to sort of hone into the specifics for each individual, because we want to be able to provide that service.
That is so incredible, and really, I believe, will be life-changing for so many people. Because everybody is different, right? So I think that's really interesting. I can't wait to see what comes of that. And I'm also curious, obviously we're talking a lot about the South African context because we're based here in South Africa, and the research is being done here. So I'm interested to hear from your perspective, Nicola, how the South African landscape is unique compared to the rest of the world, especially, for example, North America and Europe. How would you say that the South African industry kind of compares with the other counterparts in the rest of the world?
So I think no one can deny that we have world-class research facilities here. So our universities do perform at a level, like, we're great. We have amazing researchers here. We have amazing undiscovered talent, actually. And Jeff saw it. That's what got him to move here. And I think what is great is that, for example, Tux has access to all those plant species to identify potential drugs. And if you think about it, Africa is kind of like the birthplace of life. So whatever should be helping us to heal should be here somewhere. We just need to find it,
I love that.
So I think that is what makes us unique. And I don't think people should doubt our expertise. Look at, for example, what happened with Omicron. just because we had the facilities to be able to identify the new strain, we were sort of labeled as the origin, but we were slapped on the wrist in a sense for actually being great at what we do, which is a bit of a pity. But I hope that the world recognizes that we have amazing talent here and we're not to be underestimated.
I love that. And of course, in this day and age, we really operate on a global level in terms of business and all the rest of it. But as a South African, and living on the African continent, it makes me very proud to see these things. And don't underestimate us, world.
Yeah, exactly.
And what are some of the main challenges you would say, M2Bio faces, or anyone in the industry is currently facing at the moment, from regulatory to whatever else any other challenges there might be? Are there any specific challenges you could highlight for us today?
So as I alluded to a little bit earlier, it is difficult working in the space where it sort of has a tainted perception.
Stigma,
a lot of people associate, stigma. They associate these products as recreational drugs. And, to some extent, that's what they were used for back in the day, but they still have this amazing potential benefit for people. And it is a bit hard to sort of change people's perceptions on that. Even for example, if we wanted to get our products halal certified, they have reservations about the quality of the CBD, but then at least we can say, well, we go the extra mile and we double check it with an independent lab, and there should be no THC. And this is not like CBD is not psychoactive. So everything that it's offering is more towards anti-inflammatory benefits and that sort of thing. So it will take time. I feel as though a lot has changed, at least in the last 5 years. With people's perceptions, but it is something that will take education and research and hearing from people who have the background to actually put messages out there. You need someone with the right expertise to be able to relay those messages.
Absolutely, and I think it definitely becomes a conversation as well. Testimonials from people who have who these products have impacted and changed their lives as well. So I think that education in any way, shape, and form is really important. And thank you for the dedication that you guys are doing to educate people, because I think that anyone in this industry can agree education is the way to kind of remove the stigma. It's not going to happen overnight, but we need to fight the good fight, as it were.
Yeah.
So looking a little bit towards the future now, I'd love to talk a little bit about, and you have mentioned already quite a few of M2Bio's future plans. Is there anything else that you can share with us in terms of growth strategies, partnerships, collaborations? I know you have touched on some of these already, but anything else that you could share with us for the future of the company?
So I think Jeff's vision down the line is to eventually have every division break up into a standalone company that is also listed, so that they can function on their own. So that's one major thing that is in the pipeline. And as I said, we're just going to continue developing products that meet the need of people and also the environment, obviously with the M2 Enviro side. And as I mentioned, we're going to be opening up personalized medicine centers for people. So, we're relatively young company, and I think our opportunity for growth is huge. And every single day there's things on the go, and we're developing and moving forward.
Absolutely, and sky's the limit, right? I think it's incredible what you guys are doing, and I can't wait to see what happens next for you guys at M2Bio. And I just want to touch on the one point that you mentioned as well, which is the environment and that environmental impact and social responsibility. I know this is, and you mentioned this before, it's something that's very important to not only the company but to you yourself. So what can you tell us a little bit more about that? Maybe if you want to dive a little bit deeper into kind of what you guys have implemented in terms of, I know you have touched on a few things, but maybe just to highlight, give us a high level of that.
So as mentioned, everything that, like all of our food products, are ethically sourced. So we do a good background check on the origin of our products, and we make sure everything is up to standard with that. We don't cut corners at all. We make sure it is of the highest quality possible. All or most of the packaging that we use is either recyclable or biodegradable. So we're very conscious about the packaging that we make use of, especially when you think of the food industry. I mean, this is where, I can't remember the stat, I think it's like 30% of plastic waste comes from. So
it's really scary. It's so scary. You see it. You can see it every day if you buy something. How much waste that we're actually, especially plastic waste. That it really freaks me out, to be honest.
Yeah. I once watched a little video on someone who went a whole year with zero waste, and I must say it must have been incredibly difficult. But we try our very best to make sure we have as minimal impact as possible on the environment. And we also involved with upskilling people. So we often have interns working with us, learning from us, and from all over the world. I mean, we have loads of interest in the company, and Jeff in particular is all about upskilling and educating people. And if you show a willingness to learn, then he's very keen to rope that on board.
I love that, and I think that's really great. That forms part of the education, right? Upskilling people and uplifting people, and through that experience they get to learn, and the more people that know, the better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Nicola, as we start to kind of wrap things up here today, I know that you mentioned that you do, what did you call it, on the Tuesdays on social media?
So we have hashtag Health Tip Tuesdays, which is featured on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Then we also have various nutrition blogs, which are on our website. And as mentioned, it takes like potentially complex nutritional topics, and it breaks it down in an easily understandable manner for the reader. And we have loads of recipes that you should try out on the website as well. Follow us on social media. We have all the divisions on social media, so you can follow all of them if you'd like. But if you follow my division, that would make me super happy, because being able to make a difference through the little bit of change that you can make each week is really what I'm aiming to achieve with that.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Please go follow all of the divisions, especially Nicola's division on social media. Visit the website. I'll share the links in the description. Anything else that you would like to add today, Nicola? Any final thoughts to share with our CanMar audience before we close off our episode today?
So I think in terms of health, just know that every little bit counts. Like some days it will feel hard, but just taking those few steps out of the door to take that walk, or forcing yourself to have that one fruit a day and building it up over time, everything makes a difference for your overall health. Never feel like it's not going to. We just really hope that people band together to build up this industry, credible evidence, and that we can all move towards offering people this amazing opportunity to improve their health through these products that we provide.
Amazing. I totally agree with you. I think M2Bio is doing incredible things. I can't wait to see what happens next, and hopefully in the future I can maybe come and check out some of those robots doing their things. I think it's so cool.
Definitely.
So don't forget, guys, go follow M2Bio on social media, all the divisions. The website is www.m2bio.co, but I will share the link in the description as well. Nicola, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today, and thanks for being on the CanMar Morning Talk Show.
Thank you. Thanks, Melissa. I hope you have a super day further.
Thanks, everyone. I will see you next time on the CanMar Morning Talk Show. Have a great day. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching or listening to the CanMar Morning Talk Show. Join us next time for your weekly dose of cannabis and psychedelics updates from the industry's experts. But before you go, don't forget that CanMar, we specialize in recruitment and licensing and compliance for highly regulated industries such as cannabis, hemp, and psychedelics. Visit us at CanMar.io to book a free consultation with one of our specialists today. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button to hear more juicy insights from the movers and shakers of the cannabis and psychedelics industry.